Hey everyone. In today's episode, I'm getting into the top Geelong suburbs for investment. Look, I've made a video in the past saying it is the last affordable location that's good to live in Australia, and I truly mean that. Now, it is one of my favourite locations to buy in. It is pretty much the location I send anyone to buy in if you have a sub $800,000 budget, right down to about the $500,000 mark. So if that's you, be sure to reach out. I think it'll be a very good episode for you. But in today's episode, I'll get into a few things. First of all, the fundamentals of good suburbs. Secondly, what's driving the market, and then finally the suburbs themselves. Look, the fundamentals of good suburbs in Geelong are they're no different really to any other areas, but the actual, should I say, order they go in is slightly different. First things first, again, this is about 80% of what you're looking for. It is consistently so low supply combined with a wealthy demographic. Now, and it's a demand from the wealthy demographic. And now, what do I mean by this? Now, Geelong itself has a lot of suburbs there that have supply, don't get me wrong, but there's certain ones that consistently have a lot lower supply. Now, the wealthy demographic that move here generally only like buying in certain suburbs. Now, there might be a suburb with lower supply there, but if it doesn't have the right demand, you're not going to get the right capital growth. So that's a really key thing about Geelong. Third and fourth points, access to jobs/facilities and lifestyle triangle. Very important in Geelong as well. Now, the jobs in Geelong are pretty much all around the CBD centre, pretty much all there, and the facilities are also there as well. And you could also say your access, if for people that live in Melbourne, are also, they will generally commute either via car or via train into the city of Melbourne, especially if they're a hybrid worker. Now, facilities as well with hospitals, they are also, it's all in one sort of precinct, and also the lifestyle is all centered around the CBD too. So people in Geelong don't like driving any more than like 10 minutes to do all of these things, mind you. It's just, they just don't. They don't mind commuting into Melbourne if they have to hybrid, but in terms of everything in the, should I say, city, 10 minutes, I don't really like, 15 absolute max. It needs to all be able to be done within that for Geelong. Finally, as well, just get into two other things, points 5 and 6, distance to CBD and water and school zone. So this does come in a lifestyle triangle as well. You've got obviously the CBD right by the pier, by the foreshore of Port Phillip Bay there. Geelong is a bayside city, should I say. So that plays a part, obviously being near the water too. If you combine the two, it is very good. School zones as well. Geelong isn't really known for a lot of private schools. It does have Geelong Grammar, which some of the wealthy kids do go to, but it's not in the CBD centre. But what I mean by that is there's a good primary schools and the high school as well that are in there. You also have some good Catholic schools in there as well. People do like actually living around there. So if it has that combined with a good other characteristics, like I've mentioned here too, that'll definitely play a part in the suburb doing well. Strong income and gentrification is another thing. So I'll give you a good example of this. Geelong West is a very villagey suburb. There was a lot of poorer people who used to live there, I'd say pre-1990s, especially the villagey part, but it's completely gentrified, and that's continuing to happen in a lot of suburbs in Geelong. So the higher the median income and the more it's gentrifying, the better the suburb is to buy. So it's another really important point in the fundamentals of good suburbs in Geelong. These are your key things. Really important to consider. So I'll get into now what's really driving the actual Geelong property market. First things first, the number one thing 100% here will be affordability. No doubt, I don't think anyone would debate me on that at all. Affordability in Geelong is incredible. Most people who live in Geelong can actually afford where they live as well. You got wealthy people coming from outside of Melbourne, especially going into Geelong as well, because the lifestyle is fantastic. And also you got internationals buying here, or not many, but you got the interstate investors who know it's a good place to buy to because it's so cheap. So pretty much everyone who wants to buy can buy in the market, can buy in Geelong. So affordability is great. Lifestyle, fantastic. I mean, you're 40 minutes from Bells Beach, for example. And that's the Great Ocean Road. So that's one thing. You need Ocean Grove. I mean, you're close to Torquay, you're near Janjak, all the other sort of real lifestyle areas, Queenscliff, the ferry to Sorrento over there, Portsea. I mean, not very far from any of them. Really good place to live for that. Geelong itself, you got beautiful tree-lined streets as well. I mean, a beautiful foreshore by the Pier 2 of Port Phillip Bay. Really good for fishing. You got Colac and all those sorts of other more rural locations that are nice too. Good village centres as well, all really beautiful. I mean, really good place for lifestyle. So that's really driving certain suburbs as well. Jobs and gentrification. I don't know if people know this, but there was basically a manufacturing, I think it's on 9 News, actual company, government-backed company, and manufacturing has been basically put into Geelong over the next 10 years, and they expect it to have 30,000 jobs to be created by it. Now, Geelong only has about 300,000 people, mind you. I think it's 330 or something. So it's like 9 or 10% job growth just over 10 years, right, for that one thing that they've basically done. So that's going to continue to happen. Now, that's going to increase gentrification. So, I mean, a lot of government offices also moving here. So I know Transport actually has an office, WorkSafe has an office down here. The medical precinct's expanding as well. That's all really good. Accessibility is the last one. Melbourne train, an hour, literally, straight into the CBD. I mean, jobs in Geelong everywhere, waterfront in Geelong, lots of facilities in Geelong. You pretty much have everything you need in Geelong. And if not, I mean, you could just drive probably 45 minutes into some parts of outer Melbourne that would have everything they need as well. So it's not that far from anything. I mean, and accessibility, I'd argue, to lifestyle areas is even better here as well. So that's another thing in the Geelong property market that is actually driving it. It's going to continue. If you have these 4 factors in the suburb that you're buying in, like, you're not going to go wrong. It's just going to push the market into overdrive and push it up and up and up. It's just the way things work. It's just how it's going to happen. Great areas to buy. This is really what's driving the Geelong suburbs at the moment. Let's get into some suburbs of Geelong. And I'm going to start basically the very cheapest I would buy. I haven't gone under 500k anymore because they just don't exist. But the first suburb I'm going to say is under 550k, and that suburb is Breakwater. Look, Breakwater is a suburb just south of Geelong CBD. It's about 3 to 4k south of the CBD. It's only about a 5 to 7 minute drive into the CBD, depending on where you are. But Breakwater itself, it's a suburb that's often ignored. And you got a lot of homes on 500 square meter plus blocks. Some really incredible deals in that. Like, those are very rare to give you. Not rare, but they're a rare commodity because the land's becoming more and more scarce, and it's so close to the CBD that it's very good. It's kind of surrounded by the race course and goes a little bit towards the industrial area down south there, but there's some good residential pockets and buses that just run up and down, so it's easy to get in the CBD even by public transport as well. A lot of homes look like this. There's a lot of older, very well built weatherboards. There's a lot of brick veneer ones as well. They're often on about 500 to 550 meters squared. Really good location to live though, and I mean, like, itself, it's very well located. So again, like I said here, if you just look to the bottom kind of middle right of the image there, this is just overhead from Google Maps. You'll see the Geelong Racecourse and Breakwater just around there. Look, it is to the right of the racecourse as well. That is also Breakwater. St Albans Road separates Breakwater and Thompson, to give you an idea. But that's the area of where Breakwater is. It's right next to like East Geelong, South Geelong. You know, Breakwater doesn't flood either or anything like that. Well located. Everyone would be happy to live there. I mean, for 550k to be 3 or 4 kilometres from a CBD centre, neighbouring some of the best suburbs of the whole city, I don't see how you can ever lose with that. You're still getting like 4 to 4.5% yield here as well. So it's some incredible numbers in that. That's probably my best pick that is cheap in Geelong at the moment. Look, under 600k, I did previously mention a suburb called Thompson. I'm not mentioning it at the moment because I haven't actually seen anything recently for under 600k that I would buy. So it may even be above 600k that that suburb might even be now. And I know that sounds ridiculous because I had it only, a month or so ago, but I mean, it is what it is. But still today, there is under 600k available in a neighbouring suburb, and that suburb is Newcastle. Look, Newcastle as well, don't get me wrong, there is some supply of larger lots of land there, but they will be subdivided into townhouses, not houses. But Newcomb neighbours, some of the best suburbs of Geelong, and it's not a dodgy suburb Nor Lane or anything like that, or parts of Whittington, but Newcomb is it's kind of just an old school, just residential, general, I'd say middle working class suburb of probably Geelong. That's how I'd describe it. You got some nice tree lined streets, generally homes on 500 metres squared or so. Very well, a lot of them are very well built as well, like this. So it's a good suburb just to buy and hold. And you're still picking them up for late 500s to early 600s, kind of the right stock. So really good one to consider in that. And just to give you an idea, like certain parts of Newcomb neighbour a pocket of Geelong called the Golden Triangle. So that's in East Geelong, to give you an idea. And this pocket's known for having some of the most expensive properties in the whole city. And it literally neighbours Newcomb. So what you have here is as they continue to go up and as you continue to have people that, are given gifts off parents or just want to live nearby to where their family is, Newcomb is literally Newcomb and some parts of Thompson are going to be your first spillover suburbs from the Golden Triangle. So this area is particularly some of the nicest parts of Geelong, and Newcomb neighbours it, and it has some of the best demographics in all of Geelong too. And the parts of Newcomb that are actually not very far from it, I would say have quite good demographics as well. The issue with census data and aggregated statistics is it doesn't pick out smaller pockets of suburbs. So that's Newcomb under 600k still. I imagine but by the next time I make this video, it probably won't be. So for those that are looking at buying, don't look at real estate data, don't look at CoreLogic data. It is wrong. Real estate is wrong to 12 months. CoreLogic is wrong to 3. You probably need to be on the ground and actually see what's going on, because also what they're selling there might not be what you want to look for. You might say, yeah, CoreLogic says it's 605 grand, but I'm telling you, the market might be at 620 and the best properties are all at 610 to 630 that I would buy. So you need to be careful with those aggregated data statistics, but I think you're still able to buy this at the moment. Even by the time everyone watches this, I think you'll still be able to buy it. So under 600k Newcomb. Under 700k still, I will mention what I've mentioned in the past, is North Geelong. Like the name says, North Geelong is just north of Geelong CBD. It's not very far. It is actually a longer, skinnier kind of suburb. So some parts, you could say are 2k from the CBD. Some other parts are 5 because it's a long and skinny suburb. But really, it's starting to gentrify. Neighbours, Geelong West, which is pretty much your most in-demand suburb consistently in Geelong. And you have properties like this that have been knocked over on larger lots of land, rebuilt to sort of, I'd say your modern sort of specs. So very common to see in Geelong things like this. And again, very well located. It's cheap and an expensive pocket. North Geelong is that kind of big, long suburb just to the right of where Bell Park says they're shaded in light blue. And all the suburbs around are expensive, especially if you look to the southern part of the suburbs. So if you take that kind of sort of nose out and take the southern part, you got Geelong West just below it. Drumcondra and Rippleside are the unshaded sort of streety looking map suburbs just to the right of it there. That whole area of North Geelong is very underpriced. I've picked up stuff here for low 600s still, and your neighbouring suburbs like Drumcondra and Rippleside like $1 million. Not North Geelong, sorry. Geelong West is literally like 850. The right pocket is above $1 million. So extremely cheap in that. I don't know how you can get much cheaper, to be honest. It's very, very good. And yeah, it's probably one of my favourite picks of Geelong as well. It's a very, very good suburb. I really like it for under 700k, most definitely. Let's get into the top end, and I'll first of all start with under 800k. I know I've mentioned it in the past, but I'll mention it again, and that is Geelong West. Geelong West is interesting because you've got different pockets of the suburb. You've got the villagey pocket where most of the working class used to live. You've got some wealthier pockets towards Newtown where you have your old period and larger homes. So some are even on 1,000 metres squared plus like this. Those aren't under 800k, but I am picking them still up for under 800k. To give you an idea, Geelong West really, it's got high income, very low mortgage compared to income. It's got a street called Packington Street as well. What else it has also, I haven't actually answered this in the past, it's also got the Geelong Station that makes a part of it. So to give you an idea, Packington Street is kind of like it'd be a Mountain Lawley in Perth. It'd probably be A trendy part of West End in Brisbane, maybe you could call it, or South Brisbane. You could call it probably your maybe Centre Road or Lygon Street in Melbourne. You could probably call it your Oxford Street or Military Road in Sydney. That's what you could call it. It's Packington Street's really the place everyone wants to be. Trendy cafes, great area to live. To give you an idea, I had a client who picked up a property here recently off market for $772,500 that was right between the station and the CBD. No major defects, good property, walking distance to both. So, I mean, under 800K is still well achievable in the right pockets. It's no doubt of a lie, really achievable. I mean, really, really good for that. So that's the best pick for me for under 800K. The median is about 830 to 850, but I'm still picking them up in the right pockets, no doubt. Look, at the very top end, I will get into it as well because it's important. Look, this is my favourite suburb to buy. Look, you can still pick it up for about 800 to 900K pretty easily. I've even picked it up for a slightly under 800 sometimes, and that suburb is East Geelong. Look, East Geelong fronts basically the Geelong waterfront. This is basically the bottom, not the bottom, I guess you could call it the bottom towards the waterfront of the Botanic Gardens in Geelong. So East Geelong the Botanic Gardens are just north of East Geelong. And this is the basically swimming area and the kind of bayside and the sort of picnic part. Very common in big events, New Year's, Australia Day, all that kind of thing. Really, really popular in holidays. Great place to live. You got obviously the pool and the ocean there, and obviously kiosks just by there too. But really, the thing about East Geelong is it's a beautiful suburb waterfront. Walk into the CBD. I mean, some parts of East Geelong you can literally walk into the CBD. Other parts a 5-minute bike. Beautiful tree-lined streets. Beautifully maintained properties here too. Has obviously the Golden Triangle of Geelong as a part of it. And it's also got the strongest serviceability of any suburb in Geelong as well. So here you've got this is off Census 2021, and you've got median weekly household income, $1,782 a week, median monthly mortgage repayments, $1,827. So roughly people a week can afford their monthly mortgage repayment. So that's about 26%, mind you, and of a ratio. The ratio that they generally say is that you want people to have less than 30% of their gross income going to mortgage repayment. So people here, mind you, that's way less than 30. And that number as well, to give you an idea, East Geelong hasn't grown that much kind of since 2021. So I'd argue it's actually gone slightly backwards since the census data was actually taken, mind you. But anyway, so the household income would have actually gone up, but monthly mortgage repayments would probably be fairly similar. So the ratio is probably under 25 now. So that's good both for people who are wanting to buy and capital growth. And it's also, mind you, it's not only good for that, it's actually good for rental yields as well, because people can only afford what they can afford to pay, and people can easily afford to pay higher rents here. So it's another key thing about East Geelong, the suburb itself. It's a market here, East Geelong, Geelong West, Geelong CBD. They're all suburbs there, Newtown, South Geelong, that can afford literally $1,000 a week plus rental repayments. And you have, I kid you not, people that live in these suburbs as well that rent houses for that number, and that's only going to go up. It's going to continue to increase because the resident population can afford it. No doubt in my mind, very good suburb. You got the Golden Triangle in Geelong. You have properties in East Geelong that do sell for $2 million and above. You don't ever really think you'd see that in an area like Geelong because it's a smaller CBD and it's outside of Melbourne, which Melbourne's medians are under 900K even at the moment too. So don't be surprised when you see this continue to happen, because East Geelong is one of the best suburbs pretty much I'd say it's probably the top 5 regional suburb of the country to buy in, to give you an idea. So that's my summary of all the best suburbs in Geelong to buy in. Look, I thank everyone for really watching this video. I know maybe sometimes I sound a little bit long-winded, but I want everyone to know what I kind of do. You know, as a buyer's agent, the one that obviously runs my company, it's really important for that. And if you're someone who's really serious about getting the market and you have an under 800K budget, like this video says, I strongly recommend you reach out via www.compoundinvest.com.au. What happens there is it's basically a free 30-minute consult where I give you a phone call and we just discuss what you're looking to do, how I can help you, and we formulate a strategy around that. Really important for someone who's serious about getting in the market and wants a buyer's agent. Even if you're not and you're looking in 3 to 6 months' time, or you just want a bit of guidance of what to do, I still strongly recommend you reach out, because the strategy itself is even more important than the purchase. It's probably 95% strategy, 5% purchase. Now, we obviously get the purchase right, but I mean, if you don't even have the right strategy, how can you even get the right purchase? It doesn't make sense. It's counterintuitive. So, really important for that. And if you want to know what's actually on the market that you can buy at the moment that I have, you can also sign up for Premier Properties. You just go to my menu options on my website. There'll be a Premier Properties link. Once you sign up, you'll get browser access through a cookie, and you'll see what's actually available in the rough returns you can get via that. So really important for people who just want to suss it out a little bit more. I get it. It's all good. And if you are really serious, again, reach out via www.compoundinvest.com.au/inquire. Free 30-minute consults. You're not losing anything. You're just losing probably half an hour of your day. And you're getting it for free as well, so I guess you can't really complain. But look, I hope it's been a good value to everyone this episode, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.